What's going on, everybody? Josh here with Scrapyard Films, and today I'm doing another review video in
Scrapyard Reviews.
And today we're going to be talking about the Weeylite Ninja 400 LED light. It's a studio quality light that really rivals the competition around it. Its direct competitors are the Aperture 120d and the Godox VL150. But unlike most lights in this price range, the Ninja 400 is a bicolor LED, meaning it can go from 2500 Kelvin to 8500 Kelvin. Basically, that means it can go from very warm to very cool. This is pretty useful because it means you won't have to use any kind of corrective gels if you want to change the tone. So what are some features to brag about? Well, this light's very compact and comes in a really nice case. It has an extremely quiet fan that only kicks on after it gets to a certain temperature. And like I said before, it is bicolored. And then it has DMX control capability, which means you can link a bunch of these lights together and control them with a DMX controller. So where can you buy it and for how much? You can buy it on Amazon for $400, but I have seen it go on sale for $350, so you can get it for a good deal. You can also buy it on their official website. But this is the seller I bought mine through. Now what's in the box? Well, to start this off, the Ninja comes in a nice cushioned carrying case. All parts of the lights are separated by padding. In the upper flap, there's a mesh pocket that holds the remote, documentation, and a shoulder strap. We have the light itself, a detachable reflector, the control unit, the power brick, the cord that connects the control unit to the power brick, and a power cord that connects the power brick to the wall. Now let's go over some details of this equipment. The light is made out of metal and plastic, and it feels very strong and stout. It has a secure carrying handle at the top and a data/power port on the back. On the bottom there's a Bowens mount, so that means it can mount easily to just about any stand. And on the front we have the LED chip. Around that is the mounting bracket where you can attach different things like reflectors or softboxes. On the top there's some grated ventilation spots for when the fan kicks on, it can kick out that hot air. The fan turns on automatically when it gets hot, and there's no way to manually turn it on or off except for just unplugging the controller. The hinges are simple and easy to adjust with a red latch on the side. They can rotate 354.2 degrees around the light, but the handle at the top is where it stops it. The control unit right here has 3 plastic buttons and a turn dial on it. On the bottom we have 2 ports for the DMX in and DMX out. And on the top is where you have the power in and the data power out spots. And on the back of the control unit, we have a spot for a V-mount battery just in case you don't want to plug it into a wall or you don't have access to a wall port. The control unit allows you to change some settings like the strength of the light as well as the temperature. It also allows you to change the group settings, the channels, as well as the DMX channels. But if you don't want to change any of the settings using the unit, you can also use the remote it comes with. The remote allows you to change all the settings, well, remotely. And same goes for the phone app. Although I searched through the App Store and I couldn't find the phone app for Android. Apparently it's for iPhone, but I don't have an iPhone, so I can't confirm that. So that's pretty unfortunate. Now for what you've all been waiting for, some tests. For these tests, I'm going to be using my Lumix GH5S, which is known for its color science and accuracy, meaning you don't have to do much, if any, corrections before you start grading. So here's what the light looks like being used as a key light without any attachments at 20% power and the temperature set to 5600 Kelvin. Now here's what it looks like with the reflector attached. Adding the reflector attachment that comes with it focuses the light and makes it very bright, so I adjusted my camera settings to make up for it. Now here's what it looks like with a big softbox attached to it. Now compare that to what a cheap photography box light looks like. This is what I used to use before I got this light. You can tell it's not as bright, and to make up for that, you either gotta bring that light closer to you, or turn up the ISO on the camera, which would in turn introduce more noise to the footage. Here I'm raising the shutter speed of my camera to see if the light flickers at all. My test confirmed that it does not. For these next tests, I propped up a white card so we can see how accurate everything looks in post. Here's what the light looks like going from 2500 Kelvin to 8500 Kelvin at 100% power. Now let's see how accurate those colors are at different temperatures and strengths. I went ahead and set the light temperature to 2500 Kelvin and then manually set the white balance on my GH5S to 2500 Kelvin. At 100% power, it's about 2% off from perfect white balance, hinting a little towards the blue and a little towards magenta. At 1% power, it moves to about 3% off from perfect white and reduces the amount of magenta and kind of focuses a little bit more towards blue. Now let's see how it looks like at 5600 Kelvin. At 100% power, it's about 4% off from perfect white, really aiming towards the magentas. At 1% power, it moves to about 8% off from perfect white and leans more towards the red and magenta. During the transition from 100% to 1%, there was a big old swoop that went out to about 12% towards magenta and then dropped back down, kind of like a reverse C. So it got pretty off color right there. Now finally, let's see how accurate 8500 Kelvin is. At 100% power, it's about 2% off from perfect white and leans towards magenta, but provides a nice tight circle. At 1% power, it moves to about 4% off of perfect white, but seems to grab a little more magenta and blue. So as we saw for all those tests, it usually leaned a little bit more towards magenta or a little bit towards blue for almost all of those different tests, which is no big deal because LEDs over time turn a little bit more green. So companies, when they make new lights like this, they purposely give it a little bit of extra magenta boost to make up for that over time and it turning more green. So this isn't a big deal because what you can do is just set a custom white balance or do the whole custom white balance taking a picture of a gray card if you have a nice camera that can do that, and then you're gonna get 100% perfect color accuracy after that. So it's not a big deal. Now for some things to note. This light has a minimum brightness it has to achieve. If you go from 0 to 1%, you're gonna see a significant jump from total pitch black to actual light. This means it's not a perfectly linear line of power because when you go from 1% to 2%, it's barely noticeable. And if you go up there 1% at a time, you're gonna see it very slowly start getting brighter. Next, the temperature doesn't seem too accurate when you're at lower power levels. So anywhere from like 20 to 40% power or even lower. If you start scrolling through the temperatures, you're not gonna see it change too much until you hit that last temperature like 8500, then it's gonna flip to really bright. And same thing if you go backwards. If you drop the temperature, you're really not gonna see too much difference. And it's gonna kind of look like a 5600K look all the way until you hit 2500, then it's gonna snap to orange. So I've noticed there was a bit of weird stuff in temperatures at lower power levels. But once you go above 40 and 50% power, it acts normal with temperatures and power levels and whatnot. But that's definitely a con for me because I don't typically need my lights to be above even 20%. I'm typically shooting with this light right here at about 17%. Any higher, it's gonna blow out the highlights and I'm gonna have to really adjust everything to make up for that. I did notice the fan comes on after about 2 minutes of use at about 100% power, which is no big deal because the fan's extremely quiet. When you latch attachments onto the light, they are secure, but you feel a little bit of play in there. And as for the final verdict, this is a really good light. It's good for beginners and intermediate filmmakers if you want to get a nice look. It's extremely handy that it's a bicolor light because that means you can provide warm and cool tones without gels. You can do it all in the light itself. The only downside, of course, is you have to crank up that brightness to have the most accurate color temperatures. The colors are pretty accurate for the most part, but that's nothing a little white balanced adjustments can't fix. So definitely this is the best bicolored LED studio light you can get. Is it the best for key lights and things like that? Probably not. We'll have to compare them in future episodes and you can see for yourself. But if you want to buy this light, I'm going to put a link in the description below. It's an Amazon affiliate link, so it doesn't cost anything extra towards you. But if you purchase it through that link, I'll get a small commission that'll go straight towards the channel and making this all happen. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked this video, be sure to shoot a like and subscribe down there because that'll really help me out. And if you want to see more reviews, I'll link that below as well. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see y'all in the next video. And I want to give a special shout out to all of my super subscribers up there at the top. Be sure to check out their channels for some awesome content.